Hello everybody, welcome back to my planty channel. If you're new here, my name is Grace. Today we're going to be adding some extensions onto a couple of my moss poles, and I think taking some cuttings from my cebu blue pothos here to start it on a pole as well. The original idea was to repot this and put it on a pole, but it's just growing so wily. I think it's going to be really difficult to get it on a pole as is. So I think I'm just going to take some really nice cuttings from this and just have two for a little while. And then eventually I'll just get rid of the mother plant and probably solely have one growing up on a pole. The other plant that we're going to be working on is going to be my Baltic blue pothos back here. That's a little hidden from the light. And a wonderful new update on my Melanochrysum. It has finally put out new growth, and this leaf here is actually quite beautiful, and I'm so excited because I have been trying to get this Melanochrysum to grow properly for months. And when I say months, I mean like since spring of 2023. It has not put out any good leaves in my care, except for this one, which makes me very, very happy. It has only ever put out, I think, 3 runners, and I've chopped every single runner back. I've chopped this plant like 3 times, and finally it has a new leaf with quite a lot of stem in between. But I am just so ecstatic with it. I think that a win is a win. I am afraid that I have quite a lot of work cut out for me with this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I think first I want to start with my Baltic blue because it is really growing off the top, and it finally has started to fenestrate. It has 3 fenestrated leaves that are also sized up quite a lot compared to the smaller leaves towards the bottom. And I am just so ecstatic that it is finally fenestrating so beautifully, and I'm really excited to keep growing this one on a pole. I'm probably going to let it grow one more extension and then chop it off about right here and then continue to grow and hope that they get even bigger and more fenestrated. But I'm so happy with this. So yeah, I'm just so happy with how this plant is growing so far. I don't know what brand of moss pole that I bought, but if I can find the Amazon link, it comes with some Velcro tape. If I can find the Amazon link, I will put it in the description. They just come in a big roll like this. I only need one. So I am going to put this on the table and bend the sides in so it stops rolling up like that. I just accidentally completely knocked over my Adansonii. It's one of the ones that I was thinking about putting on a pole today, so I suppose I might as well now. My little net trap fell out of the top, but hey, it's fine because I was gonna take it out anyway. So I have my pole all ready and snapped together, and I'm just gonna Actually, I'll raise you up. So I'm actually gonna do this one a little differently than I've ever done before and attach this to the pole. Normally I fill my poles up with moss first and then I slide them on, and it always seems to be a lot harder than that. So I have my moss here. It's just sphagnum moss. This was some leftover from one of my other pole extensions when I took apart my Campo poles. So that's why it's in a baggie, because it didn't fit in my moss bin. But yeah, I've never put on a pole this way before, and it seems to be quite a lot easier. So I'm just going to put all of the moss up at the top and then just shove it in with a little, like a skewer or a chopstick, anything like that would work. So I'm actually going down a bit far. I'm only gonna overlap it about that much, maybe? Only 2 of these holes worth. I'm gonna show a little up close, that way you can see better. So this is the bottom of the extension, and this is the top of the original pole. I have 2 of the holes lined up. I'd say that might honestly be even a little bit overkill, but I just really want to make sure that it's not going to be wobbly at all. I'm just going to start filling this bad boy up. Okay, I think that is good. I tried to keep it from bowing out, like getting so full that instead of being flat, they like almost become circular. I definitely overpacked my previous poles down there. This one I did really well. It's like pretty much flat, like all the way down. With the original, this first extension, this was the fourth plant that this was the 4th plant that I put on a pole, and the other 3 were my first time ever doing it. So by the time that I got done and got around to this one, I was a little more experienced with it, and I packed that one a bit better. So I just wanted to make sure that this one, you know, matched, that it looked nice on the top, and I didn't totally overpack it like I did the first 3. I have moss absolutely everywhere, so that's fun. I'm going to give this moss a nice drink. By the way, it does lean quite a lot, but that's okay. I think it's just how it got placed in the pot. I'm not too worried about it though, because it only sits right up against the wall. Like, this leans completely up against the wall. So once it, you know, grows to the top of this extension and I chop it, I'll like place it in the pot better next time, but I think it's just leaning solely because of where I placed it in the pot. Oh, she's heavy now. Oh, she's leaning. It's a really good thing that this gets propped up against the wall, I'll say that much. That is gonna be it for the Baltic Blue. There's so much moss in the bottom of the pot now. I can't wait for this one to grow. I'm so happy with it. These just, mwah, beautiful, gorgeous fenestrated leaves. I'm so excited. So ecstatic with them. I get so excited every time it puts out a new one. I just can't wait for this to grow. I am so excited for this spring and summer with this plant. I took a quick little intermission to vacuum up the dirt off the floor, and now we're ready for Miss Milana Chrysum here. So I'm just gonna take the little gnat sticker out. By the way, if you are struggling with gnats, I highly recommend those. They are absolutely so helpful in getting rid of gnats. On top of that, treating with mosquito bits is also incredibly helpful. I really don't even need to use the sticky traps at this point. I haven't seen a gnat in months. There we go. Be really careful. I would be so mad at myself if I damaged this. It's rooted right here, so I do not want to chop off those roots going into the pole here, so I'm gonna stop just above that, like 1 square above that, and then I'll just train it to go more center. I am so excited. This is gonna be really pretty. Oh, I really hope that this leaf comes in nicely too. I mean, this one still came out with like a bit of damage here, and right here it has like this weird dimple in it, but I mean, that's so minor. Like, this is a leaf. This plant actually gave me a leaf. I can't be upset about any damage possibly on the leaf. Like, I'm just so ecstatic that it gave me a leaf. Well, 2 actually. I'm going to scoot back just a bit so you can see everything. There we go. And I've almost used all of my extra moss. So I will be dipping into my moss bin today, which is really exciting because I have a lot of moss to use up, and I want to use it up because it doesn't fit in the bin. By the way, it actually kind of took me for a bit of a shock realizing just how tall the Baltic blue pole is now. It has 3 extensions on it. Whoops. It has 3 extensions on it, which is the tallest that I've ever had these poles go. I had my Philodendron Camposportuanum on 3 pole extensions, and it was just a little too wobbly for my liking. So unless it was like strictly leaning up against a wall like the Baltic is, I also had the Campo leaning up against this cabinet here. Unless it's leaning up against something, I personally would not trust it if it was just like sitting in the middle of the room or something. They're just a little too wobbly and unstable for my trust levels. Here she is, tiny as can be, with way too much moss in it. When I got this block of moss, I crammed the dry block into this tote. I didn't realize how much it would expand to. I don't remember exactly how much I got. I'll like put it on the screen once I go look at my Amazon order as to how much, like how big the block of moss was. But it was so small, I was like, oh, there's no way it's gonna expand to that much. So I bought this tote at like the dollar store thinking it would fit it all. And it still is so crammed in here that I like physically can't pull it out. I can only like pull from just the top part because I like put the block in here and then expanded it, and it just like vacuum sealed. It just expanded so much. The sides were like bowed out huge. I don't know how it didn't like break. It was pretty comical, and I so far have managed to finally like get it more empty to where it's like fitting in it a lot better. But yeah, I have a really tiny room with not a lot of space, especially when I have over 100 plants in it, taking up most of that space. So I unfortunately can't have the like really nice big totes of moss like a lot of people have. I would so love to have that much moss on hand, but at the same time, I don't really need that much moss. It's not that big of a deal. And hopefully I will get there one day when I have more than just a small bedroom that I'm living in. This moss is actually a lot more wet than I thought. I'm surprised it's staying this damp just in this tote. I haven't wet it since I bought it in like, gosh, when did I buy this? Like last spring or something? Okay, we are, actually that's probably a little too much. We are pretty darn full here. I don't want to pack it too tight. It's honestly, oh, it's not that bad. This bottom part is quite packed tight, and I was actually doing it like that because I was trying to get rid of enough moss so it would fit, because I couldn't even get the lid on when I first got it. I found a couple, oops. Found a couple air pockets. There we go. One more little handful. Handful and a half. Hole number 2. Melanochrysum. I actually already have a roll with some used pieces on it that are the perfect length because we love recycling. I'm actually gonna use this as a mirror. And I think, yeah, right there is the node. When you are taping a plant, you don't ever want to tape the petiole here because it's going to limit the plant's ability to move their leaves along with the sunlight. You only ever want to tape right there on the node when you are pinning a plant to a pole. Alrighty, I think that looks really promising and very exciting. I cannot wait for this one to grow some more. I forgot to put these back. I will give this one a drink as well. Really didn't need much, it was already pretty wet. And lastly, my very lush Monstera Adansonii. I really wish I would have paid more attention when I was potting this up and not put the sticker in the front, but I can't get it off. So this plant is not rooted into the pole, as you can see. I have tried really hard. I have 2 little pieces of plant Velcro down there. They didn't work though. So I kind of just gave up, and I didn't want to pin the petioles to the pole in order to try to attempt to get it to root into the pole. So I just figured as long as it's leaning up against the pole and growing upwards, that's good enough for me. It's kind of tricky to get these slid over top of the other one. Okay. The reason why I'm growing this upwards now instead of trailing or in a hanging pot like a lot of people do, I kind of just prefer the look of it. I think it looks a lot neater. That is, you know, just my opinion, but I actually originally was growing this one trailing And when I first got it, it was beautiful. And the longer that I kept it trailing, it started getting really, really spindly, like bare stems. It lost a lot of the older leaves. So it was just like a lot of bare stem coming out of the pot and then leaves. And I thought it just looked really bad. So I completely cut every single bit of it up. I had so much Adansonii. It was kind of insane. I grew most of this from wet sticks, from all of those bare stems. So there are a lot of plants in this pot. It is more than I can remember, that's for sure. Which is why it's so bushy and lush. But yeah, I just prefer the look of it growing upwards, and if one day, you know, the leaves decide to size up for me, that'd also be like a super big plus. But you know, if it doesn't, she's still cute. You know, I really don't know where people find really nice quality sphagnum moss. I don't remember the brand that I got off Amazon. It's definitely perfectly fine. It works perfectly fine. I don't love that it has a lot of seeds in it, so I am constantly like out of the top of the pot or like in coming out of the little holes of the pole. I'm constantly picking out little green seedlings coming from it. Just like, I don't know, it's just like random little seeds, I guess, that are all in this moss. So I definitely don't love that. Compared to other people's moss that I have experienced with like buying or, you know, trading plants with people, and then, or cuttings, I mean, and they, you know, come in like a little rooted cup of moss. Everybody else has like really, really beautifully colored moss, like almost like an amber color, like a bright, it just looks like bright, healthy moss. And mine is so just like dead looking. I don't have a problem with my moss, aside from the seeds are kind of annoying, but yeah, I'm just really curious, like, where does everybody get this really nice quality moss from? Also, I will say mine has a lot of stick matter in it. I'll tell you, it still gets the job done. And it also was a lot more affordable, which is always a plus for me. It's almost full. There's still quite, I see quite a big air pocket in the back here that I keep missing. Right there. There's a few of them actually. Okay, I think that can be called good enough. I say that and then I start fiddling with it more. Okay, I'm calling that good enough. Much more stable than when they have 3 extensions on them. And I will give it a little drink. That is it for the poles, and now I just have my Cebu Blue to work with. You can clearly tell that this is the front of the pot. I kind of had to take a minute here to decide what I want to do for sure. Like I said, the original plan was to repot this and put it on a pole, but this is just so wily. There's no way. All of these, it would basically have to be like crammed onto a pole like this, and that's just not gonna work. I don't need this many vines trying to go up a pole and readjust facing all their leaves. I think that taking some pretty significant cuttings from this is going to be the way to go. Just like restart like a plant specifically for a pole, and then I can just like grow this pot out slightly, like a little bit more, and then sell it this spring, and then only have my one growing up the pole. So I have this here, that way I can mark that this is one of the leaves that I want, one of the vines I want to cut. I'm pretty much just gonna go in here and take the biggest leaves. So I'll take this vine. It has this really nice leaf on it and this really nice leaf. Oh, it has this nice leaf too. And cutting this vine here. God, this is so crazy. You can't even see. I like prop it up on my knees. Cutting this vine here because I like this leaf. So I'm just, I think, gonna set this on the table and aim the camera down and just kind of take a minute to pay attention to this and make sure that I'm not like chopping too much off of it. I mean, obviously, like I said, I'll take the biggest leaves, so whatever vines, like however far back I have to go to get the biggest leaves, I'll do that. I think I want to take 3 cuttings, maybe 4. I also, like I said, I don't want this to be like totally bald-headed, so I don't want it to end up like super sparse and then it takes me forever to grow it back before I can sell it. So I think 3 cuttings is probably gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna change the camera angle and stop rambling and chop this up. So I'm going to chop this vine right there, right under the node. So I have 1 node to root it from, that way I don't have to remove this nice big leaf. Enter bald-headed cebu blue era. Okay, I think this one is going to be my second cut. It actually has 1, 2, 3 bare nodes right there, but I'm only gonna cut above that. That way I have 2 here. That way I have 2 nodes to put out roots. And that is our cutting. I might go in and chop these up a little bit more, but as I'm growing it up a pole, it is nice that I already have like some of that lengthier growth. And I'm thinking this one right here, but if I do that, the top of the pot is going to be really sparse. However, I have this vine right here that has many bare nodes on it and then 1 leaf at the end. So I am going to chop this back until I get to this leaf here. So I'm going to chop all these bare nodes and propagate them, some little wet sticks, and I will use these to fill this pot back out at the top. I think that is a very good idea. Okay, this is actually unfurling or trying to unfurl a leaf. Very curly leaf. What the heck? Just try not to break it. Interesting. Okay. So those, where's my other one? Where did it go? Hello? What the heck? It fell on the floor. I didn't realize. Okay. Anyways. Okay, so I think I am going to take this little 3-leaf cutting. It is just like the perfect shape for propagating, and it's just gonna look so nice growing on a pole. I think it's gonna attach really well because it has like there's no internodal spacing on those leaves. So I'm gonna cut it here, and it has a little bit of an aerial root attached or growing into the soil. So, ooh, okay. Break that off apparently. It's fine. So I will wash that off really well before I put it in water, that way it doesn't rot. It probably will though. We have a node right here in case it does. Okay, so this is what we have now. Kind of push them all towards the front there, fluff it up a bit. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really gorgeous once I add some of these cuttings back into the top of the pot, like the little wet sticks and this little cutting. And like I said, I might end up taking off some of these smaller leaves and putting them back into the pot, but I'm not completely sure yet. We'll see. I don't know if I love the way that this is growing because it's growing in almost a circle, and I'm going to have to try to bend it and make it grow straight, and I don't really know if it's gonna love that or not, so I'm thinking I might just cut it back to like these bottom 2 leaves and then put these top ones back into the pot, but we'll see. Okay, the sun has set on our day of plant chores. I have them all bottled up in their propagation jars. I think they look so cute. I am just so excited. I cannot wait to get these guys growing on a pole. I love the look of cebu blue growing up a pole, especially when they start to fenestrate like my beloved Baltic blue is right now. And yeah, I really can't wait to see these leaves size up even bigger than they already are and fenestrate. I can't wait. And with that, I am going to leave this video here. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. It truly means so much to me. I appreciate every single view, every single like and comment. I just love all the feedback, and yeah, thank you so much. If you enjoyed watching, please leave a like and consider subscribing. It helps my channel out so much. I post weekly plant content every Friday, and I would love to see you there. And if you want more plant content in the meantime, you can follow my Instagram. I have it linked down in the description, and I will have it on the screen as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!